Oklahoma has a chance to sign an insane defensive line class this cycle. But before we get to that, there's some other big Sooner recruiting news we got. But you're hearing that Oklahoma might be in line for some more elite talent at the receiver position?
Yeah, you hire Emmett Jones, you put yourself in a position to get some of the best talent in the Lone Star State. That includes Bryant Wesco, one of the best receivers in the country, was just back in Norman for the Oklahoma spring game. He's visited Oklahoma more than any other campus. He's been there multiple times this spring alone. It seems to be a foot race with LSU and TCU. He's got family ties to Norman, though, and Emmett Jones has really done a great job early on. I like where the Sooners sit early on.
All right. Now, Sam, let's talk about that insane defensive line class that OU could potentially land. But before I do that, OU fans, hit the like button and subscribe to the On3 YouTube page. Oklahoma recruiting is red hot, and there's no better place to be than following it right here with us at On3. Last year, PJ Adebaware and Derek LeBlanc headlined OU's defensive line class. And Sam, you think that this year's could be even better?
Yeah, Oklahoma was one piece away last year. Brent Venebles and his crew really wanted to add DJ Hicks to that D line class and put the best class together in the country at that position. They might be able to do it this year. They're in a great spot with five of the best in the country all across the defensive front, from David Stone to Nigel Smith. Just a few of the names that were back on campus this past weekend for the spring game.
I got you, Sam. Let's take a look at Oklahoma's top trench targets. You're right. 2 5-stars right there at the top, David Stone and Williams Winari, Joseph Jonah Ajanye, and 4-star edge Logan Thomas. Sam, let's play a little game. I want you to rank these guys in terms of who you think is most likely to end up in the class and least likely from the names above.
Well, let me cheat a little bit because I have an RPM for the Sooners for a couple of these guys, but let's start with Nigel Smith. He's a top 100 defensive lineman from the DFW area. He's been to Oklahoma more than any other campus in his recruitment. He's been recruited by Lincoln Riley and Alex Grinch when they were there, and he's been a top target for Brent Venables, Miguel Chavis, and Todd Bates. He was back on campus this last weekend. I feel like he's going to end up in Oklahoma's class. Then they move on to the other 5-star, David Stone, who's from Oklahoma City. We know about the teams that have been involved with David Stone, and probably the favorite for a good amount of time. Michigan State has had not one, but 2 coaches leave their staff. He was back in East Lansing this spring, but then he's been back at Oklahoma just as much for the last couple of months. I like where Oklahoma stands with the 5-star David Stone. Let's move on to Joseph Jonah Ajanye, another top 50 defensive lineman in the Houston area. I recently put an RPM pick in for Jonah Ajanye to land with Oklahoma. He was back on campus unexpectedly for the spring game. He was not on the visitor list. He shows up. I'm told that visit really moved the needle. I think Oklahoma is the team to beat there, and he visits Oregon next. Logan Thomas is another name. He's a former teammate of David Hicks Jr., who, like I said, was a top target for the staff a year ago. They were quick to jump on Logan Thomas. He was also at the spring game. I like where Oklahoma sits. I think they're in a short race with Notre Dame and then Williams-Nwaneri. Listen, the RPM favors Oklahoma, and I think they are one of 2 teams right now to beat with Williams-Nwaneri along with Tennessee. At this point, you have, both are going to get official visits. 50-50 split. I think there still leads to a lot to be determined there, though.
All right. So by my math, it looks like Oklahoma is in good shape to land at least 1 5-star defensive lineman and a combo of 4 and maybe even 2 5-star defensive linemen before this thing's all over. That would be an insane defensive line class. Now, OU is currently sitting at 17th. We know they're not going to finish there because they got a lot of meat still left on the board. Do you think the ceiling for this class is top 10 or top 5? Where are you looking for them to finish?
Yeah, I think it definitely has top 10 potential. Look at some of the names that are still on the board. Bryant Wesco, Zion Kearney, Williams-Nwaneri, David Stone. These are 5-stars at premium positions. Listen, I don't know if it'll creep them into the top 5, but with players of that caliber, a top 10 class with those guys is sure to help Oklahoma turn things around.
All right. Well, Oklahoma fans have to be excited about where recruiting's heading as we get into the summer months. Sam, thanks for talking OU on the Inside Scoop. Thank you for watching.
make sure you smash that subscribe button for me, and remember to check out all the videos on the On3 YouTube page.